So it looks like the war with Iran is resumed. Surprise, surprise. Well, the MOU was, it didn't even last a day, did it, because of Israel and Lebanon, but we've got Nick's views on that. We'll jump into this, and then we've got a couple of other things to get into.
Okay, we're not getting regime change. We're not going to destroy their nukes or their stockpile of uranium. We're not going to suppress their drones and missiles. How do we now just get them to agree to open up the strait so we can wrap it up? Iran has us by the balls, and they know it. And everything that has taken place since February 28th has been an effort, militarily or through negotiations, to try to get Iran to let us leave the conflict. A lot of people think it's up to us to just walk away. People say, why doesn't Trump just end the war? I'm sure he wants to. I'm sure he knows he needs to, but he can't. He can't because if we walk away, Iran takes the strait. We can't let them do that. And so it's a question of whether Iran will let us. Iran could end the conflict tomorrow if they simply open up the strait to traffic with freedom of navigation, which was the status quo before the war. But they won't do that. They won't let us leave because they want to take control over the strait. And the reason being is because that capability will just be another tool in their arsenal to deter us from attacking them again. In the past, the United States was wary about attacking Iran because we were worried that Hezbollah would attack Israel. Iran would use its ballistic missiles to target Israel and American bases and our Arab allies. They might create a weapon. They might weaponize their nuclear program. And now what Iran wants to do is add another form of deterrence, which is we're going to do all of the above, plus we're going to close the strait. We are going to more easily and efficiently and maybe even legally shut down the Strait of Hormuz. And that way, the next time the United States goes to war with Iran in a coalition with Israel and the Gulf states, not only is Iran going to weaponize their nukes, not only is Hezbollah going to bomb Israel, not only is Iran going to bomb everybody with missiles, but also they're going to shut down the strait and there's nothing we could do about it.
And there isn't anything America can do about it. Unfortunately, it's like, it just is what it is, like, you know? What can America do about it? Nothing, basically. Like, the people need to get this out of their heads, like. In Iran are going to stand firm, like, I do believe. I don't think there's much they can do. But obviously, we've had that started again. And then we've got Alex Jones going off on Sneako, basically, about this Islamic takeover. But we'll get into that. It's crazy, like. And I mean, I used to quite like Alex Jones. Like, I thought he was, when he used to go on Joe Rogan, I thought his conspiracy theories were quite funny, like. But this whole Muslim, you can tell Sneako's rage, he was rage baiting, like. He was rage, actually, I think if I can get into the first clip. Yeah, there we'll go. We'll play the first one first. The first one first, yes.
He's doing the citizen vigilante thing. Alex Jones is indirectly calling for people to kill me. He knows it. You know it. His audience knows it.
Over the weekend, influencer Sneako enraged America and what's left of the Western world when in New York City, marching with a bunch of Muslims, he declared that we will all be under Islamic rule. Every home will be Islamic. Every Christian church will be shut down. We will be their slaves. And then he came out and said that my opposition to him was a death threat when it was no such thing. We're about to break it all down right now, and his adventures trying to be like Muhammad in the Al-Zut.
Obviously, I think everyone's seen the clip of Sneako going viral, like, and you know, he's struck a chord, especially with the southern, the white Americans, like, and although I am being drawn towards the Muslim faith, once you learn about it, do 10 minutes of research, like, how come the Jewish people and the Christians are protected in Iran, which is seen as the Islamic Republic, you know, the terrorists, You know, the other religions they're looked after. Like they've got seats at Parliament. The Jewish ones as well. Like, but if we can just get into Alex Jones's reply he just did an hour ago.
On today's Wednesday show, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., we got Nick Fuentes joining us for 2 hours, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, at Real Alex Jones on X and at rumble.com/The Alex Jones Show live. And, of course, on radio stations across the country, you can also find the powerful interview that's coming up on a bunch of key topics at our new news site, alexjoneslive.com. One word, alexjoneslive.com. I tell you, the Sneako coming out and declaring jihad and then everyone will be conquered by Islam and everyone will be Islamic.
He was rage baiting, man. Like, come on. I mean, I would be worried if I was Sneako. Like, I would be worried but he's a streamer, man. You know, he's got everyone's attention and he's triggered a lot of people, especially Nick Fuentes and especially Alex Jones.
With all these Islamic protests all over the world, the church is getting torched over the last few weeks, really has started a war. She kind of marked this as a point of when the Second Crusade begins. You know, the Crusades were a response to 700 years of Islamic invasion all over Europe. They took Spain, 90% of it, enslaved 2 million women into sex slavery. They brag about it. I saw this MIT professor who's Islamic talking about how they're taking over America. It's what the Quran is. So let's stop pretending the Quran isn't a battle takeover manual.
The Quran is a battle takeover manual. Have you read it? Yeah, you'll probably say he has, like. Honestly, like, just... I did believe that, like, for years. I did believe it, like, so I can't say... I don't understand where he's coming from, like, but just doing 10, 15 minutes research, it's just not.
I've read it twice. Anybody can go read it. You got all the hadiths that are just totally insane, written as commentaries at the time. And it's just marry 9-year-olds. Muhammad got gangbanged by 30 black men to take their semen and get their power. I mean, it's just total insanity. And I don't hate individual Muslims. I don't want a war with Muslims, but their religion is expansionist. If the UAE that's reformist and others are getting reformist, that's great. They need a reformation.
Expansionist? America and Israel are the expansionists, mate. Come on.
But if it's a war they want, culturally, it's a war they're going to get. So the West has been asleep, but the awakening's here. And the Muslim grooming gangs and Sneako and all of it is a triggering event. We're gonna expose Sneako today. We're gonna look at the midterms. We're gonna look at Charlie Kirk's assassination, the trial of Tyler Robinson, the new video and evidence that came out with him with a gun in his pants. It's pretty powerful. But I still question a lot of stuff. I think it's totally normal to question. So we're gonna be hitting it all today. Big broadcast. I kick off at 11 a.m. Central, 12 noon Eastern. Be sure to join me for all our shows on X and share that.
Tyler Robinson had the gun down his pants. What, he had an assault rifle or a sniper rifle down his pants, did he? Like, come on. This is what I mean. Like, these are the narratives we're meant to believe, like. These are the narratives we're meant to believe. And then you have the other side of the coin. The likes of Daniel Davis Deep Dive. Go and follow his YouTube channel. And Douglas McGregor. He's just started one. Warrior Diplomacy. His first episode was with Dan Davis and Joe Kent, speaking about the military side of things. But, you know, these are patriots, like, these are people who want America to do well. And then you've got the likes of Laura Loomer going off it, just because they're not blindly following the Zio slop. Let's call it for what it is, but we'll just jump into this one.
Americans need to understand the fact that 70% or more of the American electorate or people that we're polling are utterly opposed to the war doesn't matter. That's what people need to understand. It doesn't matter what they think. They're not in control of their government. Their government is an Israel first government. The people in Washington are comfortable with that. It's made them rich and they want to stay there. And they're not going to roll back the influence and power of the pharmaceutical companies or any of the major lobbies that are out there. They're all very comfortable. And Americans are finally going to have to figure out that none of this works anymore. The government doesn't work. Elections are irrelevant. They're going to have to do something about it. But they won't until they are suffering. And whatever bad things have happened to them to this point, they shrink to insignificance next to what can happen in the future. And I agree with you. The notion of going back to war is completely and utterly insane. But they will.
They have. They have.
I'm confident. Now, when? Well, you have someone like Larry Johnson, and I respect Larry a great deal, as you know, and his sources, and he says nothing will happen until after midterms. Maybe. I don't know that they can hold out that long. But I do know one thing, is if you look at the state of our munitions, our missiles, our weapon systems, right now the United States Navy has more tubes, more launchers, if you will, than they have missiles to put in them.
Wow.
And that's been true for some time, and that's not going to change quickly. So what are we doing? I think we're building furiously. I think Trump is trying to do everything he can to extract more from the military-industrial complex that he can use against Iran. And I think one of the things that he's worried about at this stage is that any plan that people may have had to attack China, I think is probably in the trash. Because they realized, good Lord, we can't even defeat Iran we can't roll them back from where they were. How could we possibly take on China? And I think that's a very legitimate observation.
And they would get smoked off China. I think if Russia took the gloves off, they'd get smoked off Russia. Like, this is the thing. It's scary. It is very, very scary, like. And all this propaganda, like the whole thing with Sneako, it feeds into the narrative, like you need to get rid of Iran, like, the Islamic Republic of Iran. We need to finish the job and all this nonsense. It's bullshit, like. But I just thought I'd share those ones. Hopefully the rest of this setup will be here this evening. So it's just a quick one from me.